Hello and welcome back to the Real Estate RoundUp podcast. I am Kobe Zinn and I'm joined here by my co-host Andres Martinez today. Andres, how are you doing today?
Doing awesome. Excited to be on today.
Yeah, for sure, man. I am excited as well. So, in today's episode, I think it'll be a really good opportunity for us to talk about how we can maintain our clients' motivation when it comes to actually helping them get into the right homes. Because as we all know, the real estate market as of today is not necessarily moving as quickly as people would probably like to, especially here in the summertime. But we want to talk a little bit about how to keep your clients motivated, how to maintain motivation when it comes to working with your clients. And I think it's going to be a really good topic. So let's dig right on in. So, Andres, you've been working with clients both on the new sale side of real estate, new construction side, and also, as an agent previously as well. So, when you're in a situation like this, where there's not a lot of not a lot happening in the market, what are you doing to make sure that your clients are staying motivated and doing the things that they need to be doing in order to move the process forward?
So what I do is I have a heart-to-heart conversation with them. I tell them that I am as committed as they are, and I will work hard if they're willing to work hard. Um, if they're in a situation where something might not work at that specific time, providing them with information and giving them just educating them in the process and letting them know that if we continue to work and if we continue to prepare to get them to a stage where they can take advantage of a deal, um, that's the key to everything. You don't want, because the interest rates are high, you don't want to start looking for a home when the interest rates drop. You want to make sure you're prepared prior to that. So when the interest rates do drop and you have this uh, cachet or there's this high inventory, you could pick the home that fits you. So just keeping them motivated to stick with the process.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things you can do as a real estate agent, right? And one of the things you've talked about quite a bit in the past is the biggest role of a real estate agent is making sure to help manage the client's emotions, right? Because there's a lot of emotions going through that process, right? There's not, especially when things aren't going somebody's way. So, what are some of the tactics that you found to be really helpful as far as being able to not just manage your own emotions as an agent, but also manage uh, the emotions of everybody involved uh, when it comes to closing a real estate transaction, especially when things are not going the way that they want to, and they're running into challenges that they didn't foresee before.
So I think when you're managing a real estate transaction and you're guiding someone through the process, uh, they really count on you to be the person that's going to give them the proper information, give them some advice, and give them options, right? More than anything, by giving them education and giving them options, they're able to better think throughout the process and they could come to a better decision. Sometimes, and this happens to all of us, right? It's not just our clients. We've all been in situations where we're really excited and we stop thinking, or we're really down and we stop thinking, right? So, as a real estate agent or as a sales professional, you have to be able to manage those emotions, kind of tell them, take a step back, let everything breathe for a little bit, right? And then let's make a decision when we're thinking properly. I know in real estate, time's of the essence, but you do have the opportunity to take a couple of hours, clear your head, get the proper information, and then make an educated decision on what we can do moving forward.
Yeah, so that is very important, is to be able to think clearly when it comes to navigating transactions and navigating issues and problems that might arise, because a lot of times, right, we're reacting to things that, maybe like you said, maybe positive, right? We're reacting in a certain way, or some negative things that are happening and we're reacting in a negative way as well. And that's not necessarily going to help if we want to think clearly and get to our goal. So have you found, just from your experience, have you found it to be beneficial to set the expectations up front and make sure that everybody involved, all parties involved, have the correct expectations as you navigate through the market and through buying a house in especially in this current market where there seems to be a lot of issues that people may not anticipate when they start this process.
So it's that's key word. Setting an expectation for your clients is always key. Letting them know how the process works prior to going through the process will kind of ease their mind. When you're giving them all this information up front, honestly, they really do not know what you're talking about. But as you start going through the process with them, they'll remember. Well, you know what? Andres did uh, communicate that we needed an appraisal or that we needed a home inspection. He did communicate the certain phases of the transaction so they feel comfortable. And if y'all are both comfortable communicating, it makes a transaction easier. Another thing is, I tell people transparency when any transaction that has a large dollar amount, like purchasing a home, transparency and honesty is probably going to keep the most headaches away. Uh, if there's an issue, if there's something that needs to be taken care of, don't wait to the last day before the option to bring it up to a buyer, to bring it up to a seller. If they tell you the water heater is about to go out, if I'm on the buyer side, you communicate that information. That's scary information if I'm buying a house, right? But you got to let them know, like, hey, this is where I come in. This is where we're going to work together. We're going to negotiate a repair. We're going to make sure that this water heater either gets replaced or is serviced and it's working. And a professional needs to oversee this. And you will have a warranty uh, for that repair. At that point, when the buyer decides to move forward, it eases their mind a little. Now, if you're on the buyer side and you got to communicate with your seller, hey, we're going to have to fork out an extra X amount of money. You got to let them know that uh, for this transaction to move forward, and if we're selling this house, right, making sure that you don't pay another mortgage payment is one thing we have to think about. Second of all, any if you sell this home to anyone else, this needs to be taken care of, right? And just being able to give them options. Don't show up with uh, give them bad news or give them the news that the water heater broke. Give them some numbers to some plumbers. Give them some numbers. So, and do your research. Hey, this is what I priced out. These are some options that we have. It's you're gonna have to make the decision, but I did do some of the homework for you. I have an option of 3 to 5, but it's up to you to decide. You reach out. Uh, Sometimes some of your uh, sellers or buyers, they might have military discount. And if you already present them a good option, then they might be able to even sweeten that a little bit more. So just being able to provide your client the proper information when things arise is giving them options is what's going to make them feel more comfortable.
Yeah. So you mentioned there, not just giving somebody the bad news, right? And then just kind of delivering that and leaving it at that, right? You want to give them, be transparent with what the issues are, right? The information, what you're getting, and making sure that it's being delivered properly to the client, but also giving them solutions, right? What can happen next? What does this mean, right? Explaining it. So that's actually a way I think, real estate agents are able to help clients um, navigate or dispel a lot of fear. Isn't that, would you say that's correct, as well as being able to help dispel fear?
Yeah, it's because the reason is um, you make them aware that, hey, this ain't the first time this happened. This is how we found solutions in other instances. I think everything's going to be okay. You communicate it, you give them the options on how we're going to take care of it and how it's going to get fixed. And then you just manage the emotions. Believe it or not, most real estate deals that fall apart on emotions that are instantaneously, right? So something happens, I make a decision, it blows up, and then there's no going back. As a when you're a real estate agent or a real estate professional, what you have to do is, hey, give me a little bit of time, let me get some information for you. Um, you let everyone cool off a little bit, right? Everyone takes a step back, and then you provide them with information and give them options, and then they can make a decision. Um, 90% of the time, that's going to help the transaction. Um, because most people, when they're purchasing a home, the one thing that I hear from clients on both sides is, I don't want to get screwed, or I don't want to pay more than I have to. But they're both motivated. The buyer wants the house, and the seller wants to sell the house. So they're both actually invested in that home. So making sure that we provide options and the correct information will help that transaction get to the closing table.
Yeah, and keeping that in mind, right? Keeping that, both parties are actually motivated, and that helps you actually put everything together and helps you navigate potential issues that might come up between that transaction. So that's really important as well. So as an agent, I think something else important to kind of look towards or be aware of in this market as we as we're talking here. I think middle late June here, going into July. What would you say are some of the potential issues that might come up that are pretty common that you're seeing there out there in the marketplace, whether if it's, with the interest rates the way that they are now, or with certain things that are going on in the marketplace between buyers and sellers. What are some of the, I think, most common issues that agents should be anticipating when they're working with either a buyer or a seller in this market?
So the one thing that I see right now is sometimes appraisals, right? So we came from a booming market. It's slowing down drastically. So appraised values, have they settled a little bit? So appraisals could be a thing that might become an issue. When we're talking about an issue, maybe a couple $1,000s. There hasn't been that huge of a drastic change in the market, even though interest rates are high. Property values have not dropped as drastic as people thought they were going to drop. They've remained steady. If they drop, it's minimal, but in some cases, they actually still have gone up, and that's across the nation, right? Um, as we know, real estate is a very, very specific to your market. So in certain markets, the information could vary, right? Some it went up, and others it stabilized, and in others it dropped, right? So just make sure that you're in tune and you have all the information to the market in your area. Also, interest rates, right? So interest rates are a bit high, and that's where some people that are first-time home buyers, they meet a certain criteria of income, but they're in that borderline where if it's a 6.5, they could qualify for a specific amount. But if it goes up to a 7, um, all of a sudden they're not qualified to purchase a home at this time. So just being able to manage that, I would say reach out to your local new home builders, because they're buying down the rates. They're giving you the best interest rates possible. And as a first time home buyer, they're able to give you a warranty and kind of give you some peace of mind in the initial 24 months of your purchase of your home. Um, why do I mention the warranty? Because it's something that is worrisome. If I'm going to purchase a home, I'm going to uh, put a down payment. In some cases, if you're buying an existing home, there could be some closing costs, and sometimes there isn't, right? But there might be some additional fees. You've paid a nice amount of money towards purchasing your home. Um, let's just say you send the inspector, the water heater was working, the AC was working, nothing was wrong with it, right? Let's just say 2 or 3 months after, um, it goes out on you. Now, is it the inspector's fault? No, it was working properly when he was in there. With time, things tend to live their life, right?
Yeah.
And they tend to give out. So, trying to make sure that you have a warranty, or even if you're buying an existing home, try to see if your realtor can negotiate a 1 year home warranty, because those are the little issues that could become big in the future.
Yeah. So those are some great things to look out for, especially in this market, just because we see, as we talked about, if we're able to anticipate potential issues, then we're able to help navigate them when they actually do happen, as well. So yeah, I think there's tons of information out there for agents to help with their clients, and the important thing is just to keep in mind that there's problems that are always going to arise in whatever market, and it's just your job as the professional, right, to go out there and actually help the client navigate that, as well. So yeah, so as we wrap this up here today, Andres, from your personal experience, would you have any advice to share for either newer agents out there or agents who've been in the market, maybe not so long, or just kind of experiencing their first maybe stagnation in the market in their careers, as somebody who's kind of come from a pretty extensive background? Is there any advice that you would share for them to not just keep their clients motivated, but to keep themselves motivated as well?
One thing that I would tell everyone is, historically, I mean, you can always see where the real estate market goes. I mean, we have very high ups and we have some slower times. We're at a slow time. Hopefully, we could get closer to a more steady time and a normal time, because we come from one extreme and now we're facing the other extreme, right? Um, One thing that everyone has to keep in mind is stay motivated, stay consistent. This time is not a slow time. It's a time for you to educate yourself. It's a time for you to build your network, for you to meet with the water softener people, for you to meet with insurance companies, for you to start vetting people that you can trust. So when that market picks up, you have options for your clients. You don't have to uh, fumble or be nervous. If an issue arises, you're able to tell your client, oh, you know what? Don't worry about it. I have options for you. And this is the information that I can give you. And then at that point, they know they made the right decision picking you as a realtor, picking you as a sales professional, um, because you have information that they're seeking, and you're able to kind of calm their fears.
Yeah.
So educate yourself.
Yep. That's great advice, right? There's always something that you could be doing, always staying active, even when the market itself is not as active, right? You can always stay active as an
And
individual.
people are still buying houses. People are
Yep.
still there's the new builders that are buying down these rates, and they're giving you some closing costs. There's still deals to be made. People still need to transit. We live in military USA. Uh, so there's still people PCS into San Antonio, and there's still people PCS and out of San Antonio. That doesn't stop. There's people relocating for jobs. Sometimes people are going to have to move regardless of the climate. So educate yourself, be an option, be able to help them navigate to those great deals that are available, and just be ready. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready when the market recovers.
I love that, man. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready when the market recovers. So awesome, man. Well, Andres, man, appreciate you and the value that you shared today. I think it's good to wrap it up. But guys, if you want to get some guidance as a real estate agent, make sure to check the description and the show notes down below and reach out to us directly. But other than that, Andres, thank you again, and thank you for tuning in to the Real Estate Roundup. And we'll see you on the next episode. Take care.